Welcome to EastxWestFarms, where we grow what we eat and we eat what we grow. Today I'm gonna plant vegetables. Alright, so it's been quite a while since we did a video. Our winter wasn't the greatest. It's been relatively cold. We didn't have a lot of rain. And it's really been a hard time for growing vegetables. Finally, we got some rain. The white flowers are flowering, but not as much as they usually do. So this year has been quite a bit of challenging. The sun's coming out, spring is here. We need to take advantage of the few weeks of spring that we have and get the vegetables in the ground so we have food for summer. I've got a bunch of tools here that are in a bit of a sorry state. A Hummy tool here, that's nice for, it's a Korean tool that's nice for digging and moving soil. Then I've got this, I don't know what it's called, a hoe that I bought in Japan a year ago. It's all rusted and dull. And then I do have a hand sickle that is all rusted up and needs sharpening. I'm just gonna sharpen this tool and get started. The other tools take a little bit more time to get them back into a usable state. So I've got a file, and I also got this diamond sharpener. The only thing I'm gonna do is we just sharpen this edge. Yeah, there's a lot of rust coming off. Yeah, maybe the file is actually better. So I cleaned up the top bevel, put one bevel on, put another secondary micro bevel on, and that should be good enough. I mean, it's not perfect. There's still some gaps and gouges, but for a gardening tool that should be good enough. So here's our nursery area. A bunch of the things hanging planted already. I've got a few plants left over here, some cucumber, pumpkin type of plant that's flowering already. I do have some peppers here that need to get in the ground. I think this is a lemongrass. Yeah, that's mostly it. There's some basil, I think. Let me take a few of these plants and get them in the ground. Yeah, let me take the pepper.
All right, time to find just the right place for the squashes. You know, here at EastxWestFarms, we are big believers in mixed planting. It's a bit of a different approach than those neat, straight rows you often see. The beauty is, if a hungry bunch of pests decides to target one type of plants, they won't wipe out the entire bed. Keeping track of everything can be a bit of a treasure hunt sometimes. So my current mission is to locate a nice open pocket of soil for my squash plants. I'm thinking of putting the squash along the edge of the garden. Deer can be a bit of a nuisance around here. Last year, when we planted squash as a bit of a border, we didn't have deer issues at all. And here we have it, a perfect little nook for our squash to settle in.
All right, there's something that's been seeded, but most of this looks like it is wheat. I've got some sunflowers, got some, I think those are fava beans, and yeah, it's not so clear what actually is growing in here. So I assume that I'm not making, no, that's a sweet potato. Oh well, so maybe I shouldn't plant this here. Let me close this back up. This looks like wheat. Got the sweet potato here. This is wheat. All right, let me check another location because I don't think this is the right location to plant. So the previous location wasn't good because there was something seeded already. Now here I've got a bunch of mulch. So I assume that there is nothing seeded that will grow soon. And I have, looks like some peppers that look kind of miserable, being eaten by bugs. It's not a pepper. Here's a sunflower, another sunflower. This is some winter vegetable that I'm planting. I think that's a sunflower. Might be some wheat. I'm not sure. So let me pick that location. It's also at the edge of the garden. The objective is to keep the deers out with the pumpkins. Take the mulch away. Dig a hole. I think the hummy tool is better for that. Hummy tool is nice because I can dig and then I can scoop the soil out. Okay, there's some wheat. Let me get this out. Now the pumpkins, I've been told, don't like to get their roots messed up. So I keep the root ball in place. Take the whole root ball and fill up the hole. Push it a little bit in. Oh, here's an irrigation line coming out. We do drip irrigation because it's so dry out here. Okay, so there are two pumpkins next to each other. I could have separated them, but maybe not a good idea because they don't like their roots to be messed with. So this is it. Got one in the ground. The next step is to water them in so that the roots get good soil contact. Put the mulch back in and then we'll see what happens. The next step is to water in the plants so that the soil gets some good root contact. Now the soil down on the bottom is still pretty wet. So I don't need to do a lot of watering. And then finally, I'll put the mulch back in. And then we'll see how the plant is going to grow. In this video, I transplanted 2 plants from the pot into the garden. Now there are all sorts of ways of doing gardening. One is row crop, one is the random planting stuff in the garden and seeing what grows. We prefer the second way because it's more immune to insect. We don't need pesticides. It is not the most efficient way. So planting this plant took me almost 2 hours, from sharpening the tools, finding a spot in the garden, which first spot was the wrong one, so I've had to find another one, putting the plants in, finding the watering can, had a little bit of problem with the water faucet, and finally was able to water the plants in, put the mulch back. So it can be a frustrating process, like everything in life. But if you look at the end result, it's a wonderful thing, having fresh vegetables all year round, almost all year round. Being able to go to the garden, harvest watermelon, harvest pumpkins, harvest sweet potato leaves, harvest chives, and cooking a fresh meal from scratch, where we know where the vegetable comes from, where we know what goes into the soil. That's a wonderful thing. all the frustrations are nothing compared to the results. So I encourage everybody, try your hands in gardening, don't stress out, it doesn't have to be neat and nice. Find your way of doing the gardening and enjoy the process. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoy these videos, please give us a thumbs up. If you want to follow our journey with the East by West Farms, click the subscribe button and you get a notification every time we publish a new video. Thank you very much.